Good afternoon, Firebirds. Good afternoon. Welcome to the official opening of the Smithsonian exhibit, 12 Years That Shook and Shaped Washington, 1963 to 1975. We are thankful for the partnership with the Smithsonian Anacostia Museum and grateful for the time and effort spent in installing this fantastic exhibit. Many of the images you see represent the DNA and heartbeat of our university. As you engage with the panels, imagine the images and the words and the power they represent in telling the stories of marginalized citizens and communities in Washington. As a university, we recognize the importance of this history as it is reflected and enshrined on the walls of Heritage Hall. These images remind us as a university that we must be progressive, be responsive, be selective, be metropolitan, and be authentic. At this particular time, I would like to welcome to the podium President Ronald Mason for remarks.
Do we have everybody's attention? Good afternoon. Welcome to the Public Institution of Higher Learning in and for the nation's capital. I'm not going to say much because I really want the folks from the Smithsonian to speak, but let me just say that this exhibit is the culmination of about a 3-year conversation where we started to talk about the appropriateness of having this window of history of the district being part of the learning opportunities at the University of the District of Columbia. As I understand it, this starts with home rule and goes through to the control board. Is that about the window we're talking about? A little earlier, okay. But I'm close. And this is the history of, I guess, the zenith of the District of Columbia, especially Chocolate City, different from the District of Columbia. But if you follow it from the beginning to end, it's also the story of the University of the District of Columbia. We have a section that talks about public higher education, but every piece of this story has something to do with our university. And so we're proud to have it here. We're fortunate to have it here. And we're hoping that this is the beginning of a much broader relationship with the Smithsonian because that conversation that started 3 years ago, we're trying to pick back up 3 months from now, or 2 months from now. So this is going to be a growing relationship. Now with that, let me bring up Melanie Adams, who is the director of the Anacostia Museum of the Smithsonian Institute. Right? Come on.
It is truly a pleasure and honor to join you today to celebrate the opening of the exhibition, 12 Years That Shook and Shaped Washington, 1963 to 1975. I would like to thank President Mason for his leadership in presenting this exhibition at this historic and transformational institution, which was born out of the period that is the subject of this exhibition. I would also like to thank the community of students, staff, and faculty for welcoming the presentation of the exhibition in this beautiful new facility. The exhibition 12 Years documents the rapid changing social, political, cultural, and built landscapes of this period. Between 1963 and 1975, Washington experienced the destruction and reconstruction of whole neighborhoods, the development of new public and private institutions, a flourishing of cultural institutions and community-based organizations, including our own Anacostia Community Museum, the rise in Black leadership, and step towards home rule and self-government in the district. A truly transformational and dynamic period. Today, our city is once again undergoing radical change as the cranes dot the skyline and development is transforming neighborhoods. As new residents are joining long-established residents in our neighborhoods, this exhibition can provide historical context and background to today's reality. Never has there been a more important moment to engage Washingtonians in the history of the city, and especially in the immediate past. I feel that the exhibition at this institution is particularly important as you go about your work producing lifelong learners who are transformational leaders. I hope that this is an opportunity for the community of the University of the District of Columbia, as well as the residents of Washington, D.C., to remember the struggles of the past, to discuss their city of today, and to imagine the city of tomorrow. I would not be doing my job if I did not invite you over east of the river to the Anacostia Community Museum to see the next chapter in the museum's effort to tell the story of neighborhood change and activism in Washington, D.C. The exhibition, A Right to the City, tells the story of 6 Washington, D.C. neighborhoods through the eyes of Washingtonians who have helped shape and reshape them in extraordinary ways. The exhibition highlights how residents united to harness their collective community power to fight for quality public education, healthy green urban spaces, equitable development, transportation, and a truly democratic approach to city planning. In closing, I would like to suggest that this exhibition be simply one meaningful step forward in continuing partnership with the University of the District of Columbia. We look forward to future opportunities to collaboratively explore the ideas and build bridges between our 2 institutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Adams. At this time, we'd like to have a selection by UEC alumna Abiodun Koya.
You're all so kind. It's an honor for me to stand in front of you as a UDC product. I graduated in 2005, and I tell you something, this place wasn't what it was. Not at all. And so I'd like to honor Dr. Mason for doing such an exceptional and amazing job with transforming this place. Can you give me a wonderful round of applause? UDC and embassies around gave me my first start when I started singing. And so I had a little light inside of me when I was a student here, and this little light has carried me around the world singing. And so, in honor of this great institution, I present you this beautiful selection. The first verse is in my language, which is Yoruba. Yoruba is a tribe from Nigeria, and the other verse in English. Enjoy it.
before Mr. President has to get to another meeting, we're going to do the ceremonial ribbon cutting.
Three, one. Everybody want to say something? Photos.
Yeah.
One,
Yeah.
2, 3.
Nice.
This concludes our formal program. I'd like to recognize members of the Royal Court, our student leaders. Please raise your hands. Members of the Royal Court, let's give our students a round of applause. Enjoy the dessert reception.